mean, if you're the Brooklyn Nets and you don't have KD and you don't have James Harden, and still in all with Kyrie Irving and Joe Harris and guys like that, not to say Kyrie is in that category because he's in the category of James Harden and KD, but you get what I'm saying. The fact that the Sixers needed to pull Joel Embiid off the bench because they surrendered a 21-2 run to let Brooklyn back into the game, I think that is a bad sign. I'd also like for the record to show that the Philadelphia crowd, remember, I worked in Philadelphia for 17 years as a writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer and ultimately a columnist the last 10 years or so of my career there. I have to tell you something. It is a huge mistake. As knowledgeable as Sixers fans are, it is a huge mistake for them to be chanting that KD, sucks. That's what they said. KD, that's what they said about Kevin Durant. He was on the sideline looking at them like, don't understand. What the hell are they talking about me for? You're going to rue the day you do that because we can say a lot of things about Kevin Durant. The one thing we cannot say is that this brother can't ball. We certainly can't say that. This dude is one of the top 2 players on the planet Earth when he is healthy. There's no doubt in my mind. And for the Philadelphia 76ers to know that the likelihood is that you're going to have to go up against that brother, and for the fans to be chanting at him that way, that's not going to bode well for them either. There's a price that's going to be paid for that. And I think the combination of those two things, as far as I'm concerned, left the night, for me, not that great for the Philadelphia 76ers. Despite the win, I think that 2 messages were sent. One to KD that they're going to pay for, and the other was the fact that without KD and James Harden, they still almost came back and beat the 76ers. I think it's something that works against the 76ers on this particular day.
I'm not disappointed by the 76ers. I'm going to get to your points in a second, Stephen A. I got things to say about that, but I'm not just, listen, they were controlling the whole game between like 8-ish and 14-ish points most of the time, right? Like that's basically what happened. And they know they're playing a team who's playing a second of back-to-back. And they knew coming in, no James Harden, and then come to find no Kevin Durant. And they're controlling the game. And as you said, Embiid's on the bench. And, and then, by the way, Kyrie comes out of the game. The game's over, right? This is human nature. This happens in basketball. They took their foot off the gas. They figured the game's over. And then all of a sudden, whoa, game's not over. And then the game was over. Then they're like, oh, okay, let's put this, got within 3 points. Then, okay, let's put this away. And they did. You never got the sense that they were going to lose the game. Now, Kyrie didn't come back in the game. Had Kyrie come back in, maybe they win. But it did not escape my attention that Philly was controlling the game with Kyrie in. They made the run without Kyrie. And as spectacular as Kyrie has been this year, I think if Brooklyn would have had James Harden, maybe it's a little different. Like, let's get rid of this idea that the Sixers have any chance to beat a fully healthy Brooklyn team. They don't. They have no shot to do it. No one does. If this team is fully healthy, no one's got a shot to win. So it's not like, well, because the Sixers struggled down the stretch with Brooklyn, then in the moment of truth, if Brooklyn's healthy, maybe the Sixers won't be able to beat them. We already know they won't be able to beat them if Brooklyn's healthy. By the way, apologies to Embiid, because Brooklyn has no answer for him. He's going to get his, but that's one guy on that level. And Ben Simmons they got 3 dudes like that. Now to KD. Stephen A., you think that had Philadelphia been chanting, KD is great, he wouldn't be giving them the business later on in the playoffs? KD is going to get his regardless if they say he stinks, if he's awesome, whatever it is. Let the fans chant what they want. I love it. And, of course, boo and insult the visiting star. What's wrong with that? That's like, that happens all the time.
Well, there's a lot, there's a lot of things that you don't get about basketball. So I don't mind teaching you and giving you lessons. Like, for example, when you bring up KD and you say, what's different than he's going to do? What's different? So what? What if they chanting KD's great, KD's great? He's still going to give them the business. Remember one of the things that we continuously bring up about KD, what he could do if he wanted to, but what he chooses not to do. One of the things about Kevin Durant is that he's not only phenomenal as a basketball player, it's because of his efficiency. This is a dude that doesn't just drop 30, but it's on better than 50% shooting. It's on better than 40% shooting from three-point range. Well, what if he got aggressive? What if they sat up there and said, he said, I'm rolling into Philadelphia. I remember what they were saying about me. Instead of shooting 20 shots, let me shoot 30. You understand? Instead of distributing the basketball and playing the right way, let me remind them of who the hell I am. I'm just saying, no matter what we see from him, with Kyrie, that's different. He's a killer. With James Harden, particularly the James Harden that was the league scoring champion over the last 3 years, that's different. But with KD, one of the things that we don't always get is a level of aggression and assertiveness. Yes, he plays the right way. Yes, he's unselfish. Yes, he's efficient. But we don't see him ultra aggressive. So the point is that if you tinker on getting him to be more aggressive and really to be assertive and come at you, it could be nightmarish in a lot more ways than we haven't even seen yet. That's all I mean by that.
Well, I mean, okay, but that's one dude. Those points count the same if the ball's distributed or if one dude is getting those points. And speaking of that, my big takeaway out of this game is this, Stephen A. Kyrie Irving, I think, has to show at some point that when he's the only one of the big three there, the team functions better with him on the floor than with him off the floor. Stephen A., I'm not saying that definitively last night shows they're better without him. No, of course not. Because as I said, it's human nature. The Sixers are controlling the whole game. Oh, now Kyrie is out too. We got this. And everyone else on the Nets fought hard. Good for them, especially on the second of back-to-back on the road. Good for them. But still, it's happened too many times in Kyrie's career when he is the solo star, because he's an amazing player. The team too often functions better with him off the floor. It should never be that way. I got the distinct impression last night that if it were James Harden on the Nets and the Sixers were playing like that, the Nets might have won that game if it was Harden. Harden's not more talented than Kyrie. There's no reason Kyrie should not be able to have that same effect.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.